Hello friends, today we will be discussing about the phylogenetic tree. A phylogenetic tree is also known as the evolutionary tree. It usually shows the evolutionary relationships among various biological species, and it is based upon the similarities and differences in their physical and morphological or the genetic characteristics. It is a kind of diagram, okay, and this diagram is known as cladogram that give us the idea of showing evolutionary relatedness between different species and those species emerging in different time period of the evolutionary history. And this pattern of branching in phylogenetic tree reflects how species or other groups are evolved from a series of common ancestors. So in this tree you can see that this is the main root, right? And from where every species originated. So this is the common ancestor of all those species. So in this type of trees, two species are mostly related if they have a more common ancestor. Like these two species are mostly related because these two species comes and joins here, and this is the common ancestor. Okay, and you can find here some more examples, like here also these two species are mostly related. Okay, and while those that doesn't have the common ancestor are less related. So here you can see the branching pattern. So here, like these two species are distantly related because they don't have a common ancestor. Here the common ancestor comes and joins somewhere here, and here also it joins somewhere out here. So it is much distantly related. The phylogenetic trees are basically divided into two different parts. It can be rooted and unrooted type. In rooted phylogenetic trees, there is common ancestor found, and so they are more related. While in unrooted phylogenetic trees, we don't know what is the common ancestor of that organism because there are no such emergence. So here you can see the emergence means the point from where they have emerged. Okay, so here you can see these two points are joining here. They don't have any one single point of emergence. Like here you can see this is the single point of emergence from where all the species originated, or this can also be considered as the point of emergence from where E species originated, B species originated. So in rooted type you can see the point of emergence, and so here common ancestor is found. But in unrooted you cannot find the emergence, so there is no such ancestry. So this type of unrooted type is also known as radial type of symmetry. Here you can see the radial type of symmetry because they don't have any emergence. Usually there are two different types of depiction, point of depiction in both the unrooted and the rooted type. And this depiction help us to understand what are the different points of emergence. So if you see the cladogram, you can find one is called the terminal point. Here you can see these are the terminal nodes and these are the branches, okay, terminal branches. And there are other points as well. These are known as the internal points or the internal nodes. So here you can see the internal nodes here, and these are the internal branches. Again, these are the internal nodes, these are the internal branches. Okay, here also, here also. From this internal point you can see that there is a branching going on. This is the internal nodes, internal branches, and from the internal nodes you can see the branching is going on towards the terminal points. These internal points depicts the common ancestor. This internal nodes depicts common ancestor. Here also the internal points, this depict the common ancestor. Here also, here also. So basically these two organisms are mostly related from this one, okay, from this one, while distantly related to this other one. Okay, suppose if we have here Z and if we have Y organism here, then Z is more related to D and E, while Z is less related to F and G. So to construct a rooted phylogenetic tree, we need to know physiological, morphological and genetical features, and by connecting the dots we can easily find a common ancestor, right? But for unrooted tree, it is difficult. Okay, it is kind of difficult to construct a tree. So for this type of tree, you can usually use bioinformatics softwares, where you can use this software to predict the origin of the species. But for less number of species, it's easier by doing it manually. But for more than 10 species, it is difficult, because for 10 species, it will be a very hectic and there will be lots of errors. So we usually use bioinformatics software to predict the origin of the species. So before using the bioinformatics software, we used to do it manually for less number of species, and I will be showing a bit about how you can do it manually. So to predict from an unrooted tree, it can be done by using a concept known as outgroups. Outgroups mean that among different species, like here if you consider this cladogram, here A, B and C are the three different species. Okay, we predict and choose one species. Suppose we consider this species which might have evolutionary advantage, and so they grow earlier. Okay, so this can be considered as an outgroup. That means this type of species are evolving faster. We are just considering it, we are just predicting it. So you can select any of the point and assume that this point is having the evolution independently in earlier time than the rest of the 2 points. Like this C point is having a evolutionary advantage, and it has been evolving independently in earlier time than the rest of the 2 points, like the B here and C, B and A, sorry. So this is an outgroup here, C is the outgroup here. So let's think here that C is the outgroup. So this type of outgroup species will come earlier during the evolutionary period. So for prediction or for constructing the ancestry, to finding the ancestry, we rotate the C here, and let's assume here a branching is taking place. Okay, during the earlier time, branching is taking place from this outgroup. So now C comes earlier during the evolutionary period. So what you can see, the outgroup C here, and from this outgroup the branching takes place, and when we rotate this C here, you can see that A and B are more closely related than A and C or B and C. That means A and B has these internal points here and common ancestor here, but A and C doesn't have a common ancestor here. So as it is separating here, so you can say that B and C are distantly related or A and C are distantly related, but A and B are more closely related, so they are having a common ancestor. So this way we can predict, we can construct a cladogram, and we can find for 3 species we can find their common ancestors. Actually we don't know here which one is correct, we are simply predicting it. So by constructing many rooted trees from this unrooted tree here, we can easily predict, and we can also feed the data into the software program, and this software uses the algorithm and analyzes them, and along with different data, experimental data, we get the different results. So this is all about the phylogenetic tree. I hope you understood. If you like my lecture, do subscribe to my channel and also share with your friends. Thank you.